You know, you know, you know, you know.
Ho!
No, you know, you know, you know.
Ho! Yeah. You know how the story go. You done jock my style, you done stole my flow. You done seen me out, you can snow hello. And you wonder why, man, you know. Yeah, and you should let them boys know too. Show them niggas every single thing I showed you. I'm here feeling like 50 back in '02, and everybody saying I'm the man. So true. Yeah, but what does it take to feel secure? A place with wooden floors and space to put awards. A couple of parking spots and maids to do the chores. The cars you always wanted, the women that you adored. Well, I got it. I wonder if I'd be happy without it. I doubt it. I try not to really think about it. I made it, but I'm still playing like I'm being scouted till I'm outed. Game time, bitch. I hope you're proud of us. King James shit, watch me throw the powder up. This OG got my whole suite clouding up. And I bet you I'll be out of time before I'm out of luck. They ain't rooting for me, they ain't clapping for me. I'm only saying, can somebody just be happy for me? I really hate to say I told you so, so I bite my tongue, but you know, you know. Please make your long story shorter, cause time is of the essence for the king of first quarter. Numbers do the talking, I have nothing for reporters. I just hope we make these flights and don't get held up at the border. Yeah, so you can spare me all the accolades. I'm the reason you can find my city on the Atlas page. $500,000 later and my taxes paid, and I'm still spending money from my acting days. Damn, life is such a lovely thing. Feel the perks that a 7-figure budget bring. Tell your girlfriend that I could pull some fucking strings, so we're courtside when LeBron get a fucking ring. Yeah, I've been.
Yo, what's good, chat? What's good? Another newsworthy day, man. It's been pretty slow in hip-hop, but lately it's been, last couple days, it's been pretty popping. We had the J. Cole interview. J. Cole gave us 2 interviews, and now we got one from the man himself, Hove. And a lot of people have been talking about both interviews, so it's made for some interesting content, I think, for the next week or so anyway. Who we got in the chat? We got Cass. Old Man. Would love these type of songs on Iceman. Not sure if you're going to get it. You might, though. You never know. You never know. What song is this? You know. That's what it's called. You know. The K-Bots arrived early to the live. Awesome. You're on Kick now. Yeah, for anyone who wants to head over to Kick, feel free, bro. I hate bots. They have no life. They honestly need more life. Yeah, I mean, I think it happens to anyone. Like, I've even seen it for the people who are like crazy in favor of Kendrick. Like, even on their streams, they'll have people from the Drake side come in and like troll them. So I think it just comes with it. I let them rock though. Like, I don't like very seldom do we ban anyone in the chat unless they're being crazy disrespectful. But we don't really ban too many people around here. Let me know if you need a mod in here. Okay, yeah, I'll write you down, bro, as a mod. Mike B928. I do need some more mods. Shout out to ABCDE Fuck You on for the follow over on Kick, and Junkie DD for the follow on YouTube. Also, shout out to Blunt Bunny for the follow on Kick. So I won't waste much time, man. Let's just get right into it. Let's talk about this Jay-Z interview. I have not watched the interview yet, so we're gonna watch it together. I've seen a couple of the clips, but you know, I think Hove might be. I think Hove is being a little bit diplomatic, as always, right? You gotta think. Jay-Z didn't get to where he was or where he is by not knowing how to talk, right? Jay-Z knows exactly what to say and do. Otherwise, he wouldn't be where he is. So this is the Jay-Z interview right here through GQ. I think the guy that does the interview, I think his name is Fraser, I think. And shout out to that guy. He seems to be doing some pretty big interviews for like the Rock Nation thing. Because I know he did the interviews with Pusha T and the clips as well, right?
It's been a long time since you sat down for one of these.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
What have you been up to?
Wow, everything, a lot.
So it was in January that Jay-Z did this interview. So that January, February, March, around 3 months ago, he sat down with GQ's Fraser Tharp in LA for 2 candid conversations, his first in-depth interview in years. Yeah, I can't remember if anyone knows in the chat when was the last time that Hov did an interview. Let me know, because it seems like it's been a really long time for him to, like, especially with a hip-hop platform. I can't remember the last time he did. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like Jay-Z gives some of the best interviews. Jay-Z gives great interview.
Most people go through their things, very privately.
You took it on tour.
Live every night. It was so healing. Oh, fucking Jay-Z. Respect.
So again, we've been talking about this, right? 2026 marks the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt, right? Hov's debut album, absolute classic.
Fully. Word. Like, for what? To what end?
Yo, they went all out. Like, shout out to GQ on the production of this. That intro was they did a great job with the production on this.
How would you rate your 2025? Like, looking back on the last year.
It was hard, really hard. I was like heartbroken.
Hey, X the Captain, you said R.I.P. stream. Why'd you say it? Did we go down on Kick, or are we good?
Really?
Yeah, I'm glad we got right to that, so we could just get that out the way.
Okay.
Like, I was really heartbroken by, like, everything that occurred. With all, like, we in the space now where it's just like, almost like consequence is not thought about enough. So everything is so instant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like that whole Busby,
This civil lawsuit that was dropped, dismissed.
that shit took a lot out of me. I was angry. I haven't been that angry in a long time.
They smoked the production on this. This is like documentary style interview with the music and like the overlays and stuff. I like this. Yeah, you guys can remember, right? Like, Jay-Z got really thrown under the bus by this Busby guy for these like rape allegations. Jay-Z accuser drops the rape lawsuit against him and Sean Combs. The anonymous plaintiff's account was attacked as inconsistent after an NBC report called details from her account into question. Now, I can't remember a lot about this case, but I do remember Hov saying he was going after the lawyer.
I was angry. I haven't been that angry in a long time. Uncontrollable anger. Like, you don't put that on someone. Like, that's the thing that you better be super sure. It used to be like that. Like, you have to be super sure before you put those kind of things on a person.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. This is the thing that gets a bit crazy, because I'm pretty sure, I'm going to be crazy paraphrasing, but I know when Hov talked to that doctor, what's his name again? The one about colorism stuff. Dr. Michael, his name is lost on me right now. But I think they were talking about the pedo shit and how it was too far. And Jay was trying to, based on what the doctor was saying, Jay kind of disagreed. And he said that it was just a battle. Now here he's saying that you don't put those sorts of allegations on anyone unless they're true. So was Kendrick insanely sure? Well, it doesn't seem like he was, because even UMG themselves in the lawsuit basically said, look, this is just a battle. Like, he's just saying whatever. No one would expect these things to be true. No one really believes this about Drake, right? No one believes it. That was what UMG said. So basically they're saying Kendrick lied. right? They're saying that Kendrick lied, and we know that he lied. We know that he lied. We know Drake is not a pedo. We know this, right? But it was a battle. So I don't know. You know, he's kind of moving the goalpost here a bit, it looks like.
Especially a person like me. Like, even when we were doing the worst things, we were doing bad, we had those kind of rules. There was a line, no women, no kids. You know, you hear those sayings, but those are things that I took.
Look, when I made 616 in LA vid, I put together a few different things about Drake when it came to the lines in the battle, right? I never once in my entire life called Drake a pedo. A pedo is someone who goes after pubescent children. That's what a pedophile is. Look up the definition of it. I've never called him that in my life. Never called him that in my life.
From the street, you know, morals, integrity,
Code.
those things I took because we lived and died by that. So it's strict for me. Like, it meant a lot to me. I took that really hard, and I knew that we was gonna walk through that. Mm-hmm. We was gonna walk through that because, you know, first of all, it's not true, and the truth is, you know, at the end of the day, it still reigns supreme.
When you're feeling these feelings, how do you then bounce back and get back to being?
I mean, I would be angry too. I think anyone will be angry. And, you know, it's kind of ironic because Hov's defense to this whole thing of being hit with these sorts of allegations was to threaten to sue the lawyer who pushed these allegations against him. The only difference really in the UMG Drake situation, and I've never liked the lawsuit, but Drake's defense to being called pretty much in the same ilk. He was being accused of rape. Drake was being accused of being a pedo. Drake sued the label for it, right? Are they really that different outside of that it was said in a battle? I don't know.
Jay-Z.
I don't know. This is the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just like, all right, man, we played enough defense. 2026 is all offense. When we first dropped Reasonable Doubt, we sold 34,000 records. We were in, like, at MTV, like, give us a performance in the last slot.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? You don't even have a video that we played. They ain't say these words, but you know what I'm saying. The energy was like, you're new.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't proven yourself. But then
That's true. Hove didn't sell much. Like, he only sold 34K first week with Reasonable Doubt. And I think by the end of the year, 96, right? I still think it might have went gold, but it took a bit. It took a bit, right? I remember, like, Mace at the time, I think when he came in, it was right out the gate, he was doing crazy numbers, right?
I don't mind. The fact that we released an album was proof enough.
Ex the captain, did it say the stream keeps cutting out? Why the fuck is that? I'm sorry about that, bro. Over on Kick, I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of it.
Of concept, we did it. That was hard then. We're not in control of distribution, marketing, anything. We're going like a street level, street team approach to this. And so when we put the album out, that was the win.
Yeah.
And we had some success. And remember, on the streets, we were platinum. Anywhere you was gonna go, you was gonna hear Reasonable Doubt.
Did you feel that way at the time, though?
No, at the time I wanted a deal.
Were you
so I went to
dejected
every single
almost?
label. Huh?
Did you feel like dejected or?
I wasn't, yes, I was rejected, not dejected.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? Like, every door was, but I always believed in myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't a moment that I thought, I'm not good enough for this industry.
Mm-hmm.
At every rejection, I thought, why do they have this guy in place? He doesn't know what's going on.
Like, they're slacking. They're not seeing the vision. When you look back at that time, are there things that you're glad that you didn't know?
Yeah, of course. It's almost like if you're in the room and you go through this room and you get to the end and you open the door and you're like, wow. And then you turn back and
You said Mace did crazy numbers right out the gate, right?
turn the lights off and it was like pits and snakes. You know, your naive nature just...
I mean, we could sit down and watch the whole interview, but I know you guys are more excited for like the juicy parts of it, right? Which is his thoughts on the Kendrick Drake battle. So let me just bring up the transcript and look for Drake. All right. He had some pretty interesting stuff on this. Let's see.
As a spectator, what did you think of the 2024 back and forth between him and Drake?
I'm going to have an answer you're not going to like.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you're going to like it. That's presumptuous. I think that, look, there was 4 pillars of hip hop. There are 4 pillars of hip hop, right?
Yep.
There's breakdancing.
Yep.
And it's graffiti.
Yep.
There's DJing and battling.
Yep.
Breakdance is not at the forefront of rap anymore. It's actually an Olympics sport. So that's dead. Graffiti.
Yeah.
Beautiful, in certain places.
Yeah.
And even in major art and Keith Haring
Yeah.
and Basquiat, actually, a street artist,
Yep.
took it to a next level. It's not part of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
DJing. The DJ was in the forefront. It was Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Right. Yeah.
Eric B. and Rakim.
Yeah.
You don't even know the DJ for half of the artists anymore. Who's Drake DJ? I have no idea. Okay.
Couldn't tell you off top.
That
OVO Mark is his tour DJ. I know that much.
no longer exists. And the last pillar is battling. We love the excitement. And I love the sparring and the music you get.
Mm-hmm.
But in this day and age, it's so much negative stuff that comes with it that you almost wish it didn't happen.
Really?
Yeah, because it's almost like it's a final thing. Now people that like Kendrick hate Drake,
Yeah.
no matter what he makes, no matter what he says, and it goes far too. It's like attack on his character and his thing and it's like, I don't know if I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's helpful to our growth. Where the fallout lands, especially on on social media, which takes place every day.
Yeah.
And now you have these pods of cult.
The Stan armies fighting.
Yeah, and it's like, it's too far.
Yeah.
It's like bringing kids in it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I actually agree with everything he's saying. I'm just wondering why he's doing this now, right? Because I do feel like there has been a bit of a shift in media over the last couple months when it comes to Drake. There's less and less people hating on Drake like they were during the battle, and more people are starting to know. I think knowing that he's dropping Iceman, a lot of people are starting to either dumb down their opinions or like completely switch what they were initially saying. Now, Hove's never really spoke on the battle, to my knowledge, publicly like this. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing that he's saying. But I do agree. I mean, I say it all the time about this channel. I feel like the battle was the best thing that ever happened to this channel, but it was also the worst thing that ever happened to the channel because I found myself in the middle of 2 extremely passionate fan bases. And like he's talking about, right? Like even I was expected to pick a side. And eventually the way it went down, I ended up doing that. Right? So just with the way the treatment was, right? So it's like, it's interesting.
I don't like that. Maybe I've grown in a space that is probably, I sound like the old guy wagging the finger. But I think we can achieve the same thing as far as like sparring with music, with collaborations more so than breaking the whole thing apart.
Yeah.
It could stand it before because there was no social media and there was no thing. And, you had the battle and it was fun and then you moved on.
Right.
Right now, I don't know if it could stand it with the technology that we have.
Because it takes up so much oxygen.
Nah, Future the Prince is his DJ, but OVO Mark has been his tour DJ many times.
It takes up so much oxygen.
Yeah.
And now it's just like every day they're just trying
They're
to
still talking about it.
It's not just talking about it. Not like, yo, this song, I like this.
Yeah.
No, it's like trying to tear down the people's life.
Yeah.
It's like trying to, wreck this guy's marriage or this guy's relationship with his child. And it's like,
I mean, Hove did all that dirt too, like with Nas and stuff. Like I think it would have ended up the exact same way if Hov and Nas, that if that battle took place in 2024, it probably would have been exactly the same, to be honest with you, because both, even back then, fans were expected to kind of pick whose side are you on. Like, I remember with 50 Cent and all the shit going on. Like, 50 Cent made me hate Ja Rule as a kid. It's just, as fans, that's how we act. I just think the internet and social media just took it to a whole other level, and especially when you got someone like Drake and Kendrick. I don't think this applies to every battle, though. Like, Drake and Kendrick, that's like a complete anomaly, and I know he's going to talk soon about he feels like battling shouldn't be in hip-hop. Like, I disagree with that big time. I feel like battling still can be in hip-hop and should be in hip-hop. I just think the Drake-Kendrick battle is something on its own. Now, another battle that if it happened, like imagine if Nicki and Cardi got in a battle. That would be exactly like Kendrick and Drake. But we saw people like Joyner Lucas and like a lot of people have been battling, even a Joey Badass versus the West Coast. I always called that battle fake anyways, but it didn't get out of hand like the Kendrick and Drake did. I think once you introduce two very passionate fan bases, you're going to get that. You're going to get it. That is going to happen naturally, right? And as far as tearing each other's wives and kids and stuff like that, I mean, like, Hov was doing the exact same shit. He was dropping dirt in his tracks as well, so it would have ended up the exact same way for him, right?
No, man, I don't know if it's worth it at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I love
Street Dondra, yeah, Gucci made you hate Jeezy, right? People pick. They do.
the idea that we got so much music in such a short period of time.
Great music.
Just everything around it was just like, man, it's like taking us a couple steps back.
Yeah.
And we just grown so much that I don't know if, I guess I'm gonna say it, I don't know if battling needs to be part of the culture anymore.
Interesting.
I hate that I have this point of view. I do, because I know what it sounds like. I know what it feels like. I hate it. It's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, Big Who Shot You says battle rap is supposed to destroy your opponent's entire image. That's what these dudes don't understand. Yeah, that's a fact, bro. It is. It is very much about that. Like I said, man, I feel like battles can still thrive and be just fine. But when it gets to the point where it's Kendrick and Drake, it's a whole other animal we're talking about.
Well, it even kind of extended to you, right? Because people made it a personal thing that you chose Kendrick for the Super Bowl. It's like, oh man, he's choosing the side and he's he's not.
Like I don't have, what do I have to do with that? I chose the guy that was having a monster year. I think it was the right choice.
Word.
See, this I don't agree with. Like, I gotta look, how long is Hov? I know what Hov is doing here. Like, we know he picked Kendrick for a very specific reason. Now, I don't think you could deny that he was having the hottest year. That's true. But who did he pick all the other years? Every person that Jay-Z selected for Super Bowl since he took that role. Who has he picked? Let me go here. Every artist that Jay-Z picked since he took the Super Bowl role. Let's see. I'm curious because where were they at in their careers, right? I do agree. I think when he says that Kendrick was having a monster year, that's a fact. So before he was picking legacy acts, right? Like the first one that he did, he picked Shakira, right? J-Lo, like their legacy acts. The next one he took The Weeknd. In 2021, I think The Weeknd had a pretty big year. 2022, another legacy act. Dre, Snoop, M, right? 2023, he picked Rihanna, his own, someone who's tied to himself, right? Someone who's very much tied to himself. And, you know, Rihanna's a superstar artist, but Was she having the biggest year? No. 2024, he picked Usher, another legacy act. So it looks like whoever had the hottest year has never been. The only time whoever had the hottest year worked for him was when it was Kendrick. His methodology of who had the best year only came into play for that year. Otherwise, it was all legacy acts. So it's only now that you're like, oh, no, he's had the best year. I think that's kind of convenient. And then for you to say, for him to claim that he was so mad when he had these fake allegations put on him, but he had no problem platforming someone to do that about Drake on the biggest stage possible. Right? I'm calling cap on this. Anyways, let's get back to it. Where'd my interview go? I think I shut down the interview on accident, chat. Let me bring it back up. You see what I'm saying, though? You guys see what I'm saying? Let me see what chat is saying. Kendrick wasn't even having a hot year. He had not even dropped the album. Yeah, it was really just off that one record, right? That one record. This is what Nicki was talking about. Yeah. Are you trying to say they didn't deserve the Super Bowl? I'm not saying they didn't deserve the Super Bowl at all. I think all the people he selected are absolute superstars, right? But what I'm saying is for every year where Jay-Z was responsible for selecting who would be at the Super Bowl, who was the hottest only came into play for Kendrick. Whoever had a hot moment, that only happened for Kendrick. Yeah, the weekend was smoking hot in 2021. I'll give him that too. You say Ack is cooking up a crazy stream for later. Yeah, I'm definitely tuning into Ack. I'm definitely tuning into Ack when he talks about that. Let's just bring this up again.
Word.
It wasn't in some sort of alliance to a battle, Anna.
Yeah.
What I care about them two guys battling, like, what's that got to do with me?
Word.
Have at it. Have fun. It's almost like, not on just me, by the way. They drag everybody in it. Like, everyone's part of this conspiracy to undermine Drake, I guess. But, like, what the fuck? Like, what? I'm fucking Jay-Z.
I don't know, man. Like, I know for sure Hov has Jay-Z got a great relationship with Universal, right? He does. I think he Rock signed to them back in 2013. Jay-Z has a long-standing strategic relationship with UMG, primarily through his entertainment company, Rock Nation. In 2013, Rock Nation signed a multi-year global partnership with UMG for distribution, marketing of its label, making a homecoming for Jay-Z, previous tense as Def Jam. So yeah, he's still with them to this day. Right? Here it is. Jay-Z announces partnership with UMG. Hov takes label home to the world's leading music company. Now, I don't know if we could find Lucian Grange. Photos of these guys together, probably. There's Hov with Sir Lucian right there, right? Here we go. So he's very much inside of that like corporate structure, right? And I think he's playing a bit dumb here. There's no proof that he did anything. But if you ask me, I'm calling cap. What do you guys think? Drake has an even greater relationship with UMG than Hov. So what's your point? That might not be the case. It could be, it couldn't be. It is crazy how Dirt and Act community combine. Yeah, there's some overlap for sure. They were hugging at the Grammys. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. They were hugging at the Grammys. What happened to Kojo? Well, they found him, but I mean, before it got to the point of discovery, I think the label, or not the label, the judge dismissed the case, right? Did they not high five at the Grammys? No, that was Dre. That was Dre and that was Dr. Dre and Lucian. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, could we call him a liar? Is there enough proof to say that he's lying? I don't think there's enough proof. People have been speculating for years about Drake and Hove, and this is a video I'm working on right now, right? I'm doing a big deep dive on the whole thing, but neither one of them have been public about what happened or if anything happened.
Oh, due respect to him, I'm fucking Hove. Dude, respectfully.
Or
Like, for what? To what end?
yeah,
It couldn't be that these guys just don't like each other.
yeah.
And I think they haven't liked each other for a long time.
Before you had anything to do with it.
For a while.
Yeah.
I think this has been brewing, just like me and Nas was brewing.
Yeah.
It didn't happen at the Summer Jam. That happened at Lex and TV sets, the minimum, whatever. It was a whole bunch of stuff leading up to that point.
Myth Bleak, what is the Myth Bleak slugs in your hat, right?
It was slugs in your head. It was a bunch of like little things that led up to that point. And then when it happened, I actually regret that because I really like Nas. He's a really nice guy.
But also to your point, like I remember I was like 10 or 11 when that happened. I was
Had
like,
the bigger side.
well, I was on your side.
Yeah, I could clearly.
But my position was I can't go out and buy Stillmatic or ask my parents to buy Stillmatic.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna borrow it and burn it because I can't deny one mic, you know?
Like I want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I ain't supporting them.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about, right? Like people really do, like even he was saying, like he had to burn Stillmatic just because he wanted to hear it, right? But he wouldn't actually outright go support it because he was Team Hove. And that's kind of like, I've never got to that point in this battle where, like my little brother, he's crazy Drake fan. He told me he took all of Kendrick's music out of his Spotify. I thought that was crazy. That's a little bit overboard, but I know there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people who won't listen to a single Kendrick record again. I love music too much to do that. Kendrick has he has great music. I'm not willing to sacrifice that for someone that I don't know or haven't met, right? I've never spoke to Drake in my life. I'm not going to stop listening to Kendrick. You know, like I said, I love music too much. Super chats. Okay, 208 from Lawrence Tap. Thank you, bro. I'm going to put your package in the mail today too, bro, with the McDonald's cups. As soon as I get off this stream, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send a bunch in the mail for you. I'm going to give you at least 3 of them. Yeah, I'll give you 3 cups. All the way to the land down under. Shout out to Mike Lafort for the subscription on YouTube and Chris as well. And I will not lose for the follow on Kick. There's something going on with the Kick right now. People have been telling me it's going up and going down. So I'll have to check into that after the stream. But you said watch the whole thing. I mean, we can. We could watch the whole thing. What do you guys think about this? Do you think, like I said, man, Hove didn't get to where he's at by being an idiot. I feel like he said the exact right things for people to be like, for people that can't really read between the lines to say, oh, yeah, that's true. You know, Kendrick and Drake were beefing for a long time. That is true. Hove and Nas did have a build-up. It makes sense. But I think he's kind of, if you ask me, I think he's gaslighting. I do think there is something between Drake and Kendrick because if Drake had a great relationship with Hove, do you think he would have platformed Kendrick on the biggest stage possible to call Drake a pedophile? Like, there's more into that decision than just what Hove is saying. That just Kendrick had a hot year. Now, do I think Kendrick deserved the Super Bowl? I think he was the hottest thing that year. I don't think he's the best pick for a Super Bowl just because of his catalog. Like, I don't think he makes the best music for like a party part of it, but I did like his performance. I love Kendrick's Super Bowl performance, but that's because I listened to a lot of Kendrick's music. Like the big complaint a lot of people had was that they don't know half of the music he's performing. Obviously, that his performance weren't for those people, but when you're picking something like that, I think it needs to be, you need to have someone with like massive hits. Drake is someone who will be great for the Super Bowl, right? The Weeknd was great. People like that.
Stillmatic, or ask my parents to buy Stillmatic.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna.
Biggest records and on Rihanna and blah blah blah, and even I think they made the Wiz Khalifa Black and Yellow.
Yeah.
Biggest songs in the world.
Yeah.
You don't want to go see it? Fine.
All right.
So I'm gonna present that, but I'm not gonna make them do it.
Yeah. What is your relationship with Cole like these days?
Obviously, there's things behind the scenes with, like artists and shit like that gets complicated.
Yeah.
But I think
Nah, like Cole, I'm pretty sure Cole had to buy his masters back from him. Like he wasn't willing to, if I can remember. Let me see here. If I can remember, J. Cole buys masters back. He raps about buying his masters from Hove. Yeah, this was in 2024. So this was the Might Delete Later shit, right? Let me see. The snippet. Y'all asked Jigga how much did the kid gross for the label. Pay dues, had to pay dude for my masters, but I'm grateful. Shit, business is business.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
So it looks like, I don't know what Kendrick's situation is for like his ownership of his masters. I don't know if TDE still has a lot of it or what it is, but it seems like Cole did, based off this here, it seems like he did get his masters back. Drake didn't yet.
This episode is brought to you by a bold marketer, unlike Nora.
I'm not going to play that. Cole recently told fans he's at the tail end of working on a new album. Okay, so this is it here. So Edit of 3, I know for sure that Cole, well, I don't know for sure, but it seems like Cole did get it back. Now, we've been seeing Cole have a few little, like even on, it seems like he did kind of send a couple shots at Hove. J. Cole, this is Jay-Z. So-called Kings, yeah. For that so-called Kings thing, though, I feel like he was, he's rapping in reverse, right? So I think at one point in time, he realized that there are no real true kings. That was kind of the thing he figured out over time, that no one can be, like, there'll never be an undisputed king, right? People are going to say Hove is the king. People will say Nas is the king. Some people might say 50. It depends, right? Some people's favorite rapper is DMX. So there's never going to be an undisputed king. So I felt like that's what he meant. But I know there were more bars that he had. Jigga wouldn't even take my CD. Born sick, sideline story. Some dude asked me why Hove never shouted me out, like I'm supposed to give a fuck. But I do feel like back then that might have bothered him. Especially when Hove went up to him when he was trying to get a hit for this album. And if you listen to the Inevitable podcast by Cole, like I know a lot of people know that he had problems making a hit, but I don't think they realize how bad it got for him. Like he turned in a lot of records to Jay-Z, and Hove was like, no, it's not good. No. And at one point, Hove even told him, like, I don't think you can produce on your own. You need help. I don't think you could do it. And, Cole teared up and shit during that part. But he had a major battle with Hove for this hit record back then. It even got so bad that when Cole, Hove, and Drake were talking at one point, Hove looked at Drake and said, yo, help him out. Give him a hit. Give the boy one. Because at the time, Drake was the hits guy. He was out of here, right? So I think they've had a pretty crazy relationship. What I find interesting about J. Cole is after Born Sinner, he kind of just did his own thing. Like Cole World, the sideline story, that was a complete Hove control. You could tell, like, you had J. Cole. You had his like name on the bus and shit. It seemed really disconnected from who he was. Where's the tour bus? Sideline story. tour bus, and they were branding them as, let me see, they were branding them as like, they had this slogan for them. What was it? The slogan was, no, that's the Forest Hills Drive one. They were calling them like the next one or like something like that. Like the whole marketing for this album was all driven by Hove, for sure. Then Born Sinner came, and it was a lot better than Cold World, but he was still kind of following that blueprint. But when he hit 2014 Forest Hills Drive, he completely started doing things how he wanted. And you could tell that's kind of how he continued. And I'm pretty sure around this time, we never really heard Hove talk about his music much after. I could be talking out of, I could be wrong about this, but if you look up J. Cole and Jay-Z, I don't even think they have that many pictures together for later in his career. Let me see. Yeah, like this is the 2014 Forest Hills Drive era, right? This is mad early in his career. This is Born Sinner era, right? I don't think they've been in the same room in a long time. I know he took him out on a couple shows, like he took him out here. Like that was Dreamville Fest, right? This was in New York City. But I don't think they've been spotted together in a long time. Long time. Right? I do think there's something there. I do think there's something there between them.
You given a chance to prove that you're above board is an opportunity.
Word.
So I don't have any negative feelings for him. I'm actually super proud of him and what he's done.
It sounds like you're still, like, when you came in, we were talking about the mixtape, like you're still engaging with the work as a fan, too.
Yeah, Clue sent it to me, actually.
Oh, word?
Clue, not Cole.
Yeah?
He sent it to me, because he's proud, right? Yeah. Think about Clue. Like, he have, like, a resurgence behind it.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I think Clue was the guy who broke a lot of the records off Reasonable Doubt at the time on those, like, mixtapes back in the day, right? But like when you look at Cole, like it's interesting because, Clue had to send it to Hove. It's not like J. Cole sent it to him. I don't think they're in the best place because Might Delete Later, that was the last project. No, this wasn't even, it's through Dreamville Interscope. So the last project that Cole did under Rock Nation or Rockefeller was the off season. Ever since then, he's been, I wouldn't call him independent. It looks like he signed a deal with Interscope, right? Which is kind of interesting because that's who Kendrick went with too. But yeah, it's been the Fall Off obviously was his first album away from the label, away from Hove entirely. And it's on this where he really does. He talks about Hove a couple times on the album. See, Dreamville, Interscope. There's definitely something there. The thing between two of them, Jay-Z and Hove, they've met, or J. Cole and Hove, they managed to keep their shit really private. Really private.
I want to go back to this idea we were talking about just doing things the right way, even when that comes to like attaining wealth and continuing to amass wealth. And we're talking about B-sides. One of your illest lines to me is face to the ceiling, race to 1 billion, heaven on earth, will his wings still fit him? So like, what's the answer to that question? Is it a constant struggle to maintain?
Your morality defines who you are, right? It's not what you've attained. It's not a dollar amount that changes you.
Yeah.
And if so, what is that dollar amount? When does it start? Is it 100,000? Is it 150? Like at what point, if it's a cutoff, if it's like all millionaires are bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So at 999,000, I'm good. It can't be that way, right? It doesn't make any sense. The system is set up against me, against us. But I'm talking about my specific struggle.
Yeah.
Everything was against me. My talent, not taking advantage.
So do you guys think this interview came out to take, people are saying is to like distract from other things, right? And I know academics called this, right? He was talking about how he felt Hov was going to go on this big run. And, you know, we got the Roots picnic, and then we got the anniversary of the album, the New York City show. And now we got this interview. The interview was, it says at the beginning that the interview came out, this was all filmed in January, right? In January. And I know a lot of people are wondering, yo, is Hov going to address the whole Epstein rumors and stuff? I think this is where he's going to get away from that question, because it seems like they filmed this a long time ago. Now, you guys could tell me whether or not you believe that, because it's saying that they had two candid conversations. And the Epstein stuff came out. Epstein, Jay-Z. Let me see. He was mentioned in a 2019 FBI tip line, but when did that news break? That only broke 1 month ago, right? So based on this interview, based on it, what they're claiming, this interview was filmed before that. So the info never came out yet. I don't think this was January, just your opinion. Drake needs co-headliners, the biggest rappers. He seems like promo, but we can please watch it from the beginning because we played this from the end. Okay, yeah, we can go back and watch the interview.
It wasn't.
I think we stopped around right here.
They're not seeing the vision. When you look back at that time, are there things that you're glad that you didn't know?
Yeah, of course. It's almost like if you're in the room and you go through this room and you get to the end.
Yeah, hip hop theology, I agree with you. He said Epstein's stuff for Hov and Push was contrived, anonymous tip line with no evidence. It's a nothing burger. Yeah, I've been saying the same thing on the channel. I've been saying the same thing, right? Like, there's not enough there. There's not enough there for me to assume anything about this. It is definitely a nothing burger. Like, if it were real, then investigate it, right? Please investigate it.
You open the door and you're like, wow. And then you turn back and he turned the lights off and it was like pits and snakes. You know, your naive nature just naturally navigated you through the dark. And that's made up for the things that we didn't know. And it helps because you can learn something so much that you just tap out. I think that happens a lot in the music business. Like, people get in the music business for the right reasons and they're very passionate about it, but then it becomes Monday.
It reminds me of an old Kanye quote of something he said about you when he said,
he's right about that, man. I think that applies to like all art or even all professions. Like, there's teachers and shit. They'll get out of school, you know, they're teaching the kids and stuff. They love it for their first couple years, and then it turns into like, you know, they get drained. Like, their passion goes away for it, right? I think that happens in all professions to a lot of people. You know, I've talked about it with YouTube a lot. Like, when I first started, I was just making what I wanted to make, right? I wasn't doing shit because at the time I wasn't getting paid for this and I was working a normal job. So my normal job is what paid the bills. But when it gets to the point where you're doing this specifically to pay your bills and this is your job, you know, you got to start looking at the things that are going to get you paid realistically. So, you know, I've talked about it before. I'll have an idea to do a video about the best books in hip hop. Like, you know, a lot of my favorite books that I've read are because of people like Jay-Z and different rappers who have mentioned, you know, this book helped them and this is their favorite book. So I'll go buy that book and read it. Yo, that'd be a pretty cool video, but am I going to spend 2 weeks on a video about books and make $150? Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? So maybe I'll do a Jay-Z and Drake beef video. It gets to that point. I feel like with music, it's the same thing. where, you know, artists come in, they're doing their own thing. Even like J. Cole, he's pressured to put this hit out. You know, he's trying to chase. He's trying to chase a hit, and I feel like the worst music in the world comes from chasing a hit. It just does.
With Jay, you always see the win. What do you think he meant by that?
I think that showed the entire picture, from You Must Love Me to Regrets to, you know, Soon You Understand. But the wins are so big that I can see where that can dominate a person's memory. You forget the losses.
Yeah. Or the perception.
Yeah, or that becomes the perception that it's only wins. And then I do say, I will not lose. So
Well,
I could add to the perception as well.
I was going to say you also are really good at kind of like, you have a discipline of almost like shrugging off any kind of perception of a loss. Like, what's the next go 0 for 82? I'll look at you like it's gravy, like, you know?
Yeah, because it's all wins. If I had 0.1 of the nets, I won.
Or
it's like I had ownership in a basketball team in Brooklyn.
is that something you continue to apply? Like,
Yeah.
when, God forbid, something goes wrong, don't freak out. We can.
It's not even God forbid when something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. Everything in life happens for your greatest good. Everything. I had to not get a deal in order to become who I am today. It didn't feel.
See, and speaking about books, what he's saying there is like, I don't know if it was Hove who talked about The Alchemist before. I know he's talked about the book before. But that's exactly what that book is about, right? It's about, like, you got a path, right? You got a path, and him saying not getting signed was just part of the process. You got to believe in the process. You got to believe in the path. Everything happens for a reason, right? Everything that happens to you happens for a reason.
Like the greatest blessing of all. It was the greatest blessing that I didn't get a deal, right? So, again, everything in your life, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
When you...
Don't skip over that.
Yeah.
It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. So you just got to know the distinction. Everything is just how you relate to it. There's no good or bad. Shit happens. It's life.
When did you reach that acceptance of that concept, though?
I read a lot of books earlier, Seed of the Soul, Celestine Prophecies, and, you know, all these different books. And I was picking up all these gems and jewels on the way. But I was also 26 when I came in.
See, I told you, man. I just mentioned books. Like, that the stuff that he's talking about right there, I knew it was kind of that philosophy, and like some of the books he just mentioned. That's why I started reading books, is because of people like Hove and stuff. I hated reading. If it wasn't for hip hop, I probably wouldn't have read a single book that I wasn't supposed to read outside of school.
And I lived a lot of life in those 26 years. Marcy to Trenton, New Jersey, to Cambridge, Maryland, to Newport News, Virginia. I met all sorts of people, been in all sorts of situations.
You say the interviewer is such a Hove stan? Man, like, you know how big of a moment this is for this kid? This is like a once in a lifetime, man. Like, people will go their entire fucking careers in hip hop media or as journalists and not get this moment. This is massive. He's sitting down with Jay-Z, bro. Of course and I believe this kid is from New York. So obviously he's a big fan, but huge moment for him. Huge moment. You know, I'd be the same way. I feel like he's acting pretty cool here. I feel like he's not like Nadeska. Nadeska sat down with Kendrick and she was shaking like a leaf. She sat down with Cole, it was the exact same thing. But this kid seems pretty calm.
Concept, though.
I read a lot of books earlier, Seed of the Soul, Celestine Prophecies, and, you know, all these different books. And I was picking up all these gems and jewels on the way. But I was also 26 when I came in. And I lived a lot of life in those 26 years. Marcy to Trenton, New Jersey, to Cambridge.
He's definitely a nerd. He's definitely a dork, 100%. But shout out to him for getting this Hove interview.
Maryland to Newport News, Virginia. I met all sorts of people, been in all sorts of situations. And I came out without a scratch. Never been to jail.
3 shots never touched me.
3 shots never touched me. I've never.
You said wonder how Elliot feels. Elliot is one of the people who has sat down with Hove. So maybe he might be a little bit bitter, but Elliot's not doing much right now. Elliot's not doing anything right now, from what I could tell. Now, he might be working some shit behind the scenes, but Elliot has sat down with Hove before. So he's got that on his resume.
I came out unscathed. It was very rare. And I was always curious after that. Once you reach that part, like I've had the living, and now I'm like, man, why did that happen? I'm always questioning, like, why did that happen? Why did it happen that way?
I want to ask you just a little bit about a written testimony specifically, just because that was the most recent release. I think it came out like right before the pandemic started, so
yeah,
you guys
like
didn't
the
talk
day.
about that much. The day.
Yeah, my favorite verse is off that just jumbled track. Yo, I love that track. It's so noisy and just so unorthodox. Flux capacitor.
You know what's funny about that? So I don't know if you remember this. You and I were emailing about that. Because I wrote about that album, and I said, this verse is crazy even if it's offbeat.
Yeah.
And you said that being offbeat was the point, champ, and I was like, well, what can I say to that?
Yeah, sometimes you need to sit in the pocket.
You got the classic Jay-Z laugh right there, eh?
'Cause my pocket is always, it's like with a foot over the thing anyway. It's always hanging to the last moment. And it's like, because sometimes I try to fit a lot of words into like a small space. Then that last word just like get in the door.
Sticking with a written testimony, you have a couple of verses on there that I really like because they kind of speak to what's going on with you in a broader sense in the culture, like on Universal Soldier, I think it is, when you said that you don't keep the same energy for the DuPonts and the Carnegies.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to talk a little bit about this idea of like you said earlier, like the things that you do for the culture, the ways that you...
Now, look, like, is this interview 100%? I'm pretty sure all the questions are decided beforehand, especially when it comes to someone like him, right? They call it a candid conversation, and it does come across pretty candid. Like, I think they did a good job of doing that, but obviously these things are all agreed upon. Things were cut out. Things were added. I think that's like pretty much every interview for someone of Hove's magnitude, right? Even for the Cam. I also, didn't that interview drop today too? I think we got the full, it's supposed to come out today, right? The J. Cole and Cam interview. We got some clips. Maybe we should check that out. We should check that out too.
Put on the ways that you try to protect and move forward, but kind of the pushback that you get sometimes about like people throw capitalists at you in a derogatory sense.
Yeah, I think in that verse specifically, the only thing I heard coming up was the American dream until we started being successful. And it was like, wait a minute, you're selling out because you're making money. That was the first thing that was put on musicians. People had this allure for the struggling artist. That's a mind game, what we would call back in the day for tricknology. It was like, no, I'm not going for that. Like, no, I make art first. And then I make sure that I'm compensated for my art. I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't take no one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, the loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in the.
They said they released a clip where Cole comment on like that. All right, we're gonna have the jump. We're gonna have the jump shift. We can bounce back to this, but I want to see this J. Cole Cameron interview. Like I gotta see this. Is it out yet? Talking with Flea, right? Cameron gets pressed. Did he drop the whole thing yet? Okay. It drops in 22 hours. I thought it was supposed to come out on Tuesday. Okay, so did he drop any other things from it? Let's go shorts. No. He didn't. You say on IG he might have? Let's look. Mr. Cameron. Let's see. No, there's this one. Maybe on Revolt, right? Revolt. No, man.
What was it like watching?
They got this on there.
When you heard Kendrick make that song Metro Boomin, how did you feel about it?
So I listened to it, and I have two first reactions. My first reaction is, that shit is hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a hard-ass verse, undeniable. The beat crazy, the song is ill, and I'm like, he went crazy. That's my first reaction. Because I don't know what I'm listening for. You know what I mean? I'm like, that shit's tough.
Right.
My second reaction is, not now, nigga.
Right.
My second reaction is like it's, no, nigga, this is inconvenient for me. Right at that time, I had just got off tour with Drake. I had went on tour with Drake. We did that. And I had Might Delete Later in the Chamber, which was the project that you on as a mixtape.
Right.
And then I had the Fall Off finished. I probably had to tweak a couple mixes, boom, 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 but I had this album finished, the Fall Off, right? Let me tell you something else. At that time, I had been working on the Fall Off, which was done. And by the way, that somebody leaked it. I know who leaked it and who said it, you know what I mean? But it's cool. You put it out there. It's like, yo, he was on 2 joints.
When you heard
Kendrick was on 2 joints. Kendrick was on 2 joints. And he took them off. Damn, we heard some stuff about that. We heard some stuff, but now we just got it right from J. Cole. I gotta agree too, man. Like, when I first heard Like That, like, it was a banger. In fact, in the last 2 or 3 years, out of any #1 hit that we've had, that's the best record that's come out. The best hip-hop #1 that we've got. Like, that's the best record that we've got in years, I feel like. And Kendrick did smoke his verse. He did. To me, this is to me, to Like That verse from Kendrick is, if you want to include that as part of the battle, which I think it is, I think that's the best rapping that Kendrick did. Some of the best. You say Euphoria is better? Yeah, you're right though. He does cook on Euphoria too. 616, he's rapping his ass off on that too. But like, my favorite verse from him, from the battle, is probably this one. Back Prince shit needs to be studied, man. Like, that was like a crazy back and forth thing, like, between those two. I feel like Drake got it though. Drake got it. Drake had that last flip. Your brother's Jermaine. You need to stay out of the light, like that. That was definitely the most impressive flip for that scheme. To me. Now, people might call me biased, but I think that was the best bar that we got in reference to Michael Jackson and Prince. Pet Cemetery. Nah, this was heat, man. This was heat. That's kind of crazy. So Cole hears this. His first opinion, his first thing is like, fuck, this is tough. And then secondly, you got to remember, they were. And Drake was still on tour. Drake and J. Cole. It's a Blur tour, right? It's a Blur. Wait, let me go Google. Drake, it's a Blur tour 2? I think it was 2, right? This one. Big as the What? It was pretty cool because what they did for this tour was, what was unique about this tour for Kendrick and Cole was, back in the day when Drake first took Cole on tour, they were doing like smaller venues and stuff like that, and going to like different cities that they kind of stopped going to as they got bigger. And for this tour in particular, I think they made it so that they went back to a lot of those smaller venues and cities, right? A lot of the ones they went to when they first popped off, kind of thing. But yeah, so Cole finished up on March 27th, right? He finished up on March 27th. That was his last thing with Drake. And then the Like That record dropped when? In May, right? Or was it April? Was it April 3rd? or May. It was May, right? It was March 26th. That's crazy. So he literally dropped it the next day. They dropped the record the day after their last. Look. That was strategic. That was definitely strategic. Because look, Cole's last time with Drake continued. Drake went on the tour. He was still touring during all this, right? But Cole, his last show was March 27th. And Kendrick dropped on March 26th. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like you gotta that was strategic. But then Drake continued, right? Drake continued. Drake was still touring the whole time, which I think was also deliberate, right? Kendrick picked it. He picked it. He really thought this out. Yeah, it ended on April 5th for Drake. So Drake, at that point, when Kendrick dropped it, this was a huge tour, man. Look at all these dates. When Kendrick dropped that on the 27th, Drake still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more shows to do. 5 more shows to do. Right? And then he got to it. And then we got the battle. I got a couple super chats here. Let me look. Shout out to Keo504 over on Kick. Thanks for the follow. And JoeLine44 over on Kick. O'Reilly. Hove is acting like we don't know he called Dr. Dyson to disagree Kendrick used Trump-like strategies in the battle. Thanks for the 5, bro, Oriel. Yeah, that's true. I mean, he really did do that. He took it personal, right? Candace with the 5. Thank you for the 5. Drake and Hove are tied for #1 albums. Is it a coincidence that Jay-Z rollout has started? Hove is a big guy on legacy. He's a big guy on legacy. I mean, I've been saying now for the last little bit that I do feel like we're going to get one more album from him, right? 5. Oh, sorry, Candace, you doubled up. You asked the same question twice. So if you want to ask another question in the chat, I got you on that because it looks like you accidentally doubled up on your super chats. Just ask whatever you want in the chat. $1.99. He's a glazing nerd. You're talking about Frasier. He's definitely a nerd. 5 from Oriole again. Lines tap. Hove calling Dyson is relevant. He claims the battle is beneath him. If he didn't care, why bother calling? Dyson wasn't talking about Hove. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very true. I mean, apparently Jay-Z and Dyson got like a historic relationship. I only found that out through Dyson. Queens get the money. 2, y'all like the moaning part? Get up with me. I could do without the moaning part, but I do think he smoked the verse. I do think he smoked it. Do you see the Ebro clip? Oh yeah, I did see something like this on Twitter. Ebro is once again salty and upset and literally proven that he'll be favorable to people when he could gain something from them. Once he realizes that it's not going to work, he starts hating. Ebro. Let me see. Let's look. Ebro says Kendrick Lamar was the only one to support him. Here it is right here.
And others, I'm really loving what Cole's doing right now. I like all these guys. Musically, artistically. Some I like more than others. I'm really loving what Cole's doing right now. But I don't give a goddamn. Like, we respond to things on the fly, bro. Like, it's happening right now. You did XYZ. Like,
right. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, and Drake's criticism came out of how he was acting each time.
And if we're keeping it a bean, the only person that supported my show and me is Kendrick Lamar. So, like, if we talk about how we pay our bills, y'all ain't been up here supporting me. None of y'all. Kendrick has. During the Drake battle, I made a concerted effort to talk about what was happening in the records.
So why would you even say that, though? Like, no one owes you anything, bro. No one owes you anything. And right now I find this kind of interesting, the fact that, like, we just watched Nadeska sit down with Cole. Now, that's through Apple. That's through Apple, which Ebro is a part of, right? Ebro is like the main guy over at Apple. So when Cole decided to sit down with someone from Apple, did he pick Nadeska? Did he say, no, I'm not doing it with Ebro? Did he not want to sit down with Ebro? Is that possible? Maybe. Or did they just select Nadeska? Knowing the ego of Ebro, his ego is like through the fucking roof. I'm assuming that he probably wanted to sit down with Cole himself. I can't see him being like, no, I'm going to give this to Nadeska. Sounds like Cole probably picked who he wanted to sit down with, and it wasn't him, right?
The person that supported my show and me is Kendrick Lamar. So, like, if we talk about how we pay our bills, y'all ain't been up here supporting me.
People don't want to sit down with you because your personality sucks, bro. You're crazy abrasive. You're a hater. People don't fuck with you because you're a hater. And your personality sucks. And your ego is through the roof. That's why. That's why. Like, the fact that Cole seems to rather sit down with Nadeska, who's like shaking like a leaf and completely nervous, than sitting down where you're at, it says something.
None of y'all. Kendrick has. During the Drake battle, I made a concerted effort.
And the last time Kendrick sat down with you, by the looks of that clip, was 2015, bro. 2015. That's the last time. Let's look it up. That clip that he just showed, I think, was from 2014. J. Cole Hot 97 interview. So he sat down with Funk Flex. I don't think he's ever sat down with Ebro. I don't think he's ever sat down with Ebro. Sat down with Flex, and he's also sat down with Angie Martinez, right? But who are you going to sit down with? Are you going to sit down with Angie Martinez or Ebro? That's a no-brainer if you're an artist. I would rather have a convo with Angie any day over Ebro. And then he sat down with Nadeska. So a bunch of people around Ebro got, like, Funk or Flex, Angie, Nadeska, all them got interviews with Cole. Ebro didn't, right? When did Kendrick go up there last? It's been a long time. 10 years ago, bro. 11 years ago. Is that even worth, like, when was the last time Drake went up there? I think Drake's last time was, again, Drake, like, sitting down with Angie. Right? Around the same time. Around the same time. So Drake, the last time Drake was up at Hot 97 was around the exact same time that Cole was up there. Sorry, not Cole. Kendrick. Kendrick was up there 11 years ago. Drake was up there 12 years ago. But Drake didn't sit down with Ebro. He sat down with Angie, right? Same with here. He's talking to Funk Flex.
Pusha T did a freestyle. And I think it was a freestyle, and it was over one of your instrumentals.
So, you know, you could kind of see, like, I mean, Ebro's kind of spelling it out. Like, it seems like he's willing to pay favor to people who sit down with him.
To talk about what was happening in the records. What Kendrick was saying, what Drake was saying, who I like to create.
Oh, wait. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Kendrick did sit down with Ebro for the Super Bowl, right? That's right. He did, right? It was Ebro, Nadeska, Kendrick Lamar, right?
That, you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. So everything I just said is kind of null and void. I forgot. That's how. This is how memorable this interview was. I couldn't even remember it. Like, what does that interview have for views? Super Bowl interview. Kendrick Lamar. 109,000 views. Here's the official one.
Was it black?
Doesn't even have 1 million views, bro, on a Kendrick Lamar interview from the Super Bowl. From the Super Bowl. Let's see Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny interview Super Bowl. I don't know if he even did one, did he? Right here.
Welcome.
633.
And now
114. Okay. I stand corrected. Nobody remembers that interview? No, it was really boring. It was really boring.
Creatively, who I thought made missteps. Like, the reason it got personal in the commentary was because their commentary got personal. So you're forced to talk about what they're talking about because they got personal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and because we're human beings who have personal feelings about the things that they say. So if someone like you.
No, like, look, man, there's a way of talking about things. Like, sure, you could break down the things that were said back and forth in the battle without calling Drake a cancer. You could break down what was said in the battle without saying any of the shit you said about Drake. Like, you know, this is exactly what Cole was talking about in his interview with Cam when he's talking about the people who kind of used the battle to really show how they really felt about Drake. He's talking about people like Ebro. Ebro's trying to make it sound like, oh, no, man, we were just breaking down what was said in the battle. No, you made it personal, bro. You called the guy a cancer. What is he talking about?
Thought made missteps. Like, the reason it got personal in the commentary was because their commentary got personal. So you're forced to talk about what they're talking about because they got personal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and because we're human beings who have personal feelings about the things that they say. So if someone like you, for example, are very sensitive to the conversation around people and the N-word, then specifically mixed race people, the white mom saying that whole thing is literally playing with your experience. He's playing with your personal experience.
We're not playing with it, but that's...
I mean, he was playing.
Well, he played with it in a way that I knew was going to be bad for him.
Yeah, but it also was triggering specifically for you, no?
No, it wasn't triggering. If anything, it was like, yo, dummy, that is the wrong move.
Anyway, it's just a matter of, it's just really a matter of people were so selective into things that they picked against Drake, and they made it into this mountain hill that it shouldn't have been. Dirt, do you think Drake ever does a traditional interview again? Yeah, I think he'll do one. I wouldn't say it'll be in the traditional sense, though. Like, I'm not expecting him to sit down with Zane Lowe or really any of these guys. Like, the one guy that I think deserves the interview the most from Drake is Ak. And when he, you know, the thing is with sitting down with Ak, he's not going to hold back. I don't think he's going to be willing to compromise his questions for Drake or what he wants to know from Drake, which is kind of a risk for Drake. Or it's a risk for Drake to sit down with Ak because of the questions he's going to ask. Another one that I think will be really good is honestly, I got to say it, is Joe Budden. Because I think out of all the people in hip-hop media at that level, Joe knows the most about Drake's career. Like, Joe is or was like pretty much a Drake stan. He loves Drake's music. You might say that he's had some like negative things to say over the last few years, but he's always been a big Drake fan. So I think he could do a really great interview with Drake too. The other thing about Joe too is Joe knows the industry games as well. Like Joe was someone who got shelved under Jay-Z. Like Joe came out with his self-titled album, right? Joe Budden. It was called Joe Budden. And then I think it took a few years before he started dropping a bunch of mixtapes, but his next major album, I think it took 3 or 4 years. Mood Music 3 he released in 2008. So his first album, Joe Budden, came out under Def Jam in 2003. It sold 430,000 units. It went number 1 on the U.S. rap charts. Like, what a lot of people don't realize about Joe is, like, 2003, that's peak 50 Cent, right? That's like 50. 50 is going crazy at this time. But a lot of people were talking about Joe, too, as like an underground rapper coming in. Not just because of Pump It Up, but because the dude could really rap. Right? And there's been a lot of speculation about what Hove did to Joe. So, you know, when it's kind of funny, we were just watching that Jay-Z interview and he said that, like, he never really did anything to put anyone in like harm's way or never burned anyone, or, like, you know, there's a lot of speculation around what happened here because it took Joe 4, 5, 6, 7. It took him 5 years, right? And he didn't even release that under Def Jam. When did he leave Def Jam? When did Joe... And that's why Joe Budden was releasing so many mixtapes, because the label wouldn't put out his album. So he's like, fuck, I got to do something. So he just kept putting out mixtapes, right? When did Joe Budden leave Def Jam? He left in 2007. He signed with them in the early 2000s. He dropped Joe Budden, self-titled. He had Pump It Up. And his second album was called The Growth, kept getting delayed because of label disagreements. And it got so bad, the album was completely shelved. And after years of frustration, he left. He was released from the label in 2007. Then it took him only a year to drop Mood Music 3. If you're thinking about content-wise, yeah. And you know, that had a lot to do with Jay-Z. He didn't like Joe. Based on recent Joe Budden. Hold on. Joe Budden versus Jay-Z. I mean, he did the Pump It Up freestyle. Joe asked him to hop on it. And Joe asked him to hop on the remix, I think, or it wasn't even a remix. It could have been a remix, yeah. Joe asked Hove to hop on it, and Hove told him $250K. And then Hove just kind of stole it, right? Hove just said fuck it and put it out on his own. Joe Budden, Pump It Up. Give me that beat, fool is a full-time Jack move. Wait, sorry, Jay-Z. You say Hove did Budden dirty? I mean, I think Joe has even talked about this before. I think he's talked about this before, but I kind of just had like I kind of went off on a tangent, but I think that Joe Budden, I think deep down he can relate to Drake in a lot of ways with this label bullshit, because he's been through it too. He's a big fan of Drake. I think if they could put aside some of the bullshit, I think they could have one of the best hip-hop interviews of all time. I really think they could do that. Who we got for super chats here? Maul talked about the last time Cole and Drake talked. Oh, let's look at that. Yeah, I saw something earlier. New Rory and Maul. Let's see here.
Spoken after everything, but it's not been much communication. Is he talking about
Cole has not spoken to Drake since before Not Like Us came out.
Okay, because he's saying in this clip, I wasn't sure if he was saying after the Dreamville Fest incident or after the battle when he said he's spoken to both of them, but it hasn't been much.
You're asking me. I'm only answering answering from what I know, right?
I don't know a thing.
No, I'm only answering what I know.
I know how the internet works. I want it to be extremely clear.
Okay,
what Cole said in this Cameron clip, he is saying that they spoke. I don't know what after everything means. I don't know if it means Dreamville Fest. I don't know if it's like that. I don't know if it means after Not Like Us. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so let me tell you from what I know.
Okay.
Cole has not spoken to Drake since before Dreamfest.
Okay.
Now, whether he shot a text after that and the text went unresponded.
Got you.
I don't know about that. I know he hasn't spoken to Drake since before he apologized.
Yeah.
Because if I do something like that, Rory, I'm going to make it my business to get in front of you and have a conversation because we have a real relationship. And if I do something like that and I handle something where I know that you look slighted or you feel away and I shoot you a text and you're not responding, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that me and you are in the same room and we have a conversation.
I agree with Maul on that 100%, bro. Cole, and we learned this from Cole himself recently, right? Like, at first we thought that when he made the apology, well, I thought because in the apology, while on stage, he claimed like, look, my boys are up there. They're going to be real pissed at me right now. Like, I never told anyone this. And then he apologized, right? So I always felt like, oh, Cole just had this thing come over him. Like he's feeling the energy in the building. He's in his own city. And he just apologized off the cuff. But then in this recent interview with Cole, we find out that no, this is, he had this conversation with his girl. It wasn't just that night. Like he had planned to do this. So knowing that he had planned to do this, I agree with Maul. You think he could hit up Drake beforehand and even tell him beforehand, look, bro, like just to let you know, this is what I'm planning on doing. In a minimum, at least let Drake know what you're planning to do. But it sounds like he didn't do that based on what Maul is saying. Drake found out when we found out. And given their history and their friendship and the fact that they're both in the middle of it, I agree with Maul. Like, that's kind of fucking shady of Cole to not let Drake know what he's doing. Right? He should at least let him know. Like, picture you're in a similar situation. Right? And then, when Maul claims that they didn't speak after the apology, that's even more crazy. But I do believe that Cole, after he did the apology, he probably did hit Drake up and say like, yo, bro, like, I hope everything's all good. I had to do this, yada, yada. And Drake doesn't respond because Drake is feeling like, what the fuck, bro? I'm finding out like this, like we didn't have this conversation. You didn't tell me about this. Like you just went out and did it. So of course, Drake is not answering him back, right? He's fucking pissed. And I think, like I've been saying this for a while, I think Cole might have continued to try to get a hold of Drake. And Drake didn't respond. He wasn't responding to him. So the only way, like we saw Drake at Toronto show, and I've showed you guys this a few times now. Right? I've showed you guys this a few times now. Drake gets pretty emotional during this show. And then literally 2 days later, what was that show? What was that show, chat? Drake says your friends will turn on you. Show Toronto. Drake gives a speech about friends at a party. Yeah, this is it right here, chat. Where is it? Because this is exactly when Port Antonio came out after. Drake gave a speech. Drake calls out fake friends. Here we go. This is it.
Y'all, Drake took the light skin Olympics to a whole nother level.
What you mean? What y'all?
By yourself. Sometimes it's you.
Yep.
They might stab you in the back. They might do a.
So keep in mind, like, listen to what Drake is saying here, right?
You. They might switch up. They might try and move funny with you.
Yep.
They might stab you in the back. They might do a lot of things to you. You'll come to that realization. Wherever you're at in life, you've probably been there and you'll be there again. That's how life is. But look, sometimes it's you and you alone by yourself.
So Drake at this point, like, he seems pretty intoxicated during it. Like, he seems like he's drunk on stage here, right? And he's kind of venting. And, you know, this was October 7th, 2024 that this came out. And you want to look at Port Antonio. Keep in mind, October 7th, 2024. I think Cole sees this. He sees this footage of Drake. And, of course, Drake is not answering him. So the only way he could get through to him is through the music. And that's what he did. He dropped Port Antonio 3 days later. So I feel like Cole really did feel bad when he saw Drake drunk and talking like that. You could tell that Drake is he feels like people switched up on him, right? He's hurt. He's hurt over the whole thing. And you could see that on Port Antonio, this is how Cole gets his shit off. And this is a result of Drake not answering him, I think. And he's trying to talk to Drake through the music. Now, let's just listen to Port Antonio really quick. And now we're learning a lot of context now. We're hearing a lot from J. Cole. And we're like, it just goes to show when you assume things, a lot of the times we're way off with shit, right? Like with me, I thought Cole thought on a whim that he was just going to apologize. But no, he had talked this over with his girl, right? He had planned to do this ahead of time. So even with that, that's new information. We'll go lyrics. Keep in mind, like, let me just paraphrase one more time and say that at this point, it seems like Drake was not answering him. After the apology, Drake said, fuck that guy. Right? Pretty much. And stopped answering him. He sees this clip of Drake on stage drunk. You know, he's disappointed. He's talking about friends stabbing him in the back. Cole feels away. He drops Port Antonio 3 days later. Pause in between because when I play the music, I'll get clipped pretty quick here for copyright. So I'll just like take a little minute, let it breathe. I feel like they're still mocking his melanin. I've been seeing like people on Twitter say shit about that. Like they're calling him white and like it's crazy divisive, bro. It's like it's insane. It's fucking 2026 there, right? Like he never had his father in his life, first off, but then his mom met that Edward guy, right? I think his name, his stepfather was named Edward. So you remember when he had that, Cole had that nickname, like his moniker, he went by Kill Edward. Apparently Edward ended up doing his mom really dirty after, right? And Cole really fucking hated him. In fact, he played a song on the Inevitable podcast. It was something he never put out. And it was about this Edward dude, and it was crazy the shit he was saying. Like it was pretty deep. Cole started crying when he heard it, when he played it back.
But it start to drown, but the rhythm gave you some time.
Still, like, to me, J. Cole has still been rapping better than both Drake and Kendrick in the last couple years. To me, he's still been rapping at the most elite level. See, like, even a line like that, right? He says, like, this even ties into what Drake has been saying in what his narrative, because he's saying They want blood. They want clicks to make their pockets grow. Like that's just not people like myself or like rap fans. That's who do you think owns these fucking labels, bro? Who do you think? Like, look at what Drake has been claiming that happened in the lawsuit. He's talking about this whole thing was cooked, according to him. Now, that's just a narrative, right? But he's basically saying, like, why am I going to do all this just for these, like, powerful white executives to profit off it? Like, that's what this is, and we're just going to tear the shit at each other, lie about each other. It's all going to be botted. It's all going to be bullshit. Like, he's saying that that's not why he raps, right? That's not why he got into it. So I completely support what he's saying there.
They wanted blood, they wanted clicks to make their pockets.
Well, it sounds like you did lose a bro. It sounds like you did lose a bro, though. Because I don't think him and Drake are in the best. Like I said before, they don't hate each other, but it seems like they're not. I do think they'll rekindle. I think they'll connect again at some point when Drake is ready. But it might take some time. It might take some time.
Since the age of 14, Jermaine is no king.
It's true, bro. Like, imagine going back in the 90s and telling them, like, telling these people, going back in time and telling them, yo, in the future, like, in order for your shit to be successful, there's going to be bots and shit to manipulate the stuff. And, like, you're not even going to there's going to be this thing called the algorithm. Like, battles weren't like this before, is what he's talking about. Like, to be considered king, you got to do all this bullshit. It's not hip hop. Like, this stuff is not hip hop. What he's talking about here, advice. Like, I think this is the only way he could get through to Drake, because Drake wasn't answering him. So, I mean, he's a musician. He's an artist. So he put it into the music. I think he's trying to talk to Drake here, but at the same time, he's trying to let the whole world know. Because remember, around this time, Cole had a couple records drop. There was the one that he put out. What was the one that people make fun of all the time? There was Grippy, but there was a couple other ones like that came out, and people were picking the lines apart and trying to say he was dissing Drake. So what he's doing here is also letting people know that he has no issue with Drake.
They say I'm picking sides, and don't you lie on me.
I think this is great advice. Like, I think that's true. Get back to why you started this. And I'm sure as hell when they started this, they didn't have it in their heads that they were going to be swaying battles by lying about people and paying bots and all this politics. And like, to J. Cole, that's not hip hop. And I got to agree with him. I got to actually take a quick piss. So I'm going to put something on here for you guys to watch in the meantime. What can I play? Let's go. I'll see what my guy Chig's got on here. Let me see.
Shit. Never let a man piss on your legs.
Drake calls out. How old is this? Okay, this is mad old. 1 second. Let me play something. It's only gonna take me a second. J. Cole calls out Drake.
YouTube. Chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, Chicks.
I'll be right back.
You know, I like Chick Smooth. Chick Smooth is somebody I really enjoy listening to on YouTube because Chick just got an intellectual curiosity about things.
Oh boy, here we go, you guys. A lot of people are pissed off with J. Cole's recent interview with Cameron, and the full interview is not even out yet. Now, this morning, I played a couple clips from the interview for you guys. Once again, shout out to Lauren LaRosa from The Breakfast Club. These clips she released this morning has everybody pissed off at Cole. Now, just like we've been seeing the last couple of weeks, a lot of people in media are now starting to shift the narrative for Drake to turn him into a victim. That's right, you guys. The PR spin is in full effect right now. Drake has gone from somebody that lost a rap battle to now being made out as a victim that everybody wanted to see fail. Just last week, we saw Gilly come out and blame black people for wanting to see Drake's downfall. According to Gilly, Drake was winning so much that black people specifically just wanted to bring him down.
It's when you get back to the top, that's when you got to worry about saying, he did it again. Let's bring that back down to the bottom. But that's how our people work. So yeah, other races, they don't work like that. Garth Brooks could be Garth Brooks forever. You feel me? Jay-Z can't be Jay-Z forever. Kanye can't be Kanye forever. Drake can't be Drake forever. Think about that. As black people, we was dying to see Drake fucking lose a battle. Think about that. Not me personally, but as black people, look how many people jumped on board. The minor ain't nothing came about that nigga fucking with no kids or nothing, man. So, but you can have a whole arena singing that shit. And it's probably a minor. Ain't none of that came out. You're supposed to have a fake baby on the side. Ain't none of that came out.
A minor. Gilly is funny, bro. Gilly is hilarious. Hilarious. All right, Chad, what else we got? We covered, we got academics. For anyone who's been waiting on Iceman, right? Which is pretty much, I'm assuming most of the people in the chat, aside from a couple people, Jay-Z speaking on pedo allegations being put on him. Yeah, that's funny. We just talked about that. But let me see here. There was a part that I wanted to show you. Here we go.
In the world. And I think he's confident. I haven't heard any records for the people who are, what you've heard, how many songs. I don't know. And I'm okay with not knowing. I told you this time I want to be like a fan. So as he wraps this up, and I do think it's coming within the next 90 days. For me, the next 90 days will probably...
90 days? 90 days? No, man.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
90 days, bro? I don't think I could wait 90 days. I guess we're going to have to, but like, what the fuck? I thought it was coming way quicker than that. What do you guys think? Do you think Ak is just playing around? I mean, he's giving it 90 days, so then he could be like, yo, I told you. Sheesh.
Please see Iceman. Now, I'm down to say I'm wrong, but I'll be able to tell you.
Wait, 90 days would be pretty much, that's the summer, right? It's pretty close to summertime. It would kind of make sense for him to do that. If he really wants to turn up the summer, he could do that and just take over. But then it's called Iceman. Yeah.
You what is happening that I'm going to say I'm wrong for. So, Iceman's on the way. I'm very excited about it, and I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with what happens. Not necessarily in like who's going to be on it, but I think the quality of music is going to, again, I don't want to be a mouthpiece for Drake, but I've had conversations.
That's the thing though, man. Like Drake has to deliver. Like he has to with Iceman. It's taken him a long time. The last album he put out was a couple years ago. This is really the longest. What's the longest we've seen Drake in between albums? This got to be it. Drake has been dropping consistently. Okay, so look, here's his, let's bring up his album discography, right? So he dropped Thank Me Later, Thank Me Later 2010. Take Care 2011. Nothing Was the Same was what? June 15th. So like a year and a half between those. 2013. Oh, Nothing Was the Same and Views was a good amount apart too. That was a good 3-year, 2.5-year gap there. 2018, another couple year gap. 18, 19, 20, 20, another 3-year gap. Okay. 2022, 2023. And now we're like 3 years removed from For All the Dogs. Almost at the 3-year mark, right? So we can definitely expect some quality, for sure. He went on a run from 2021 to 2023 where he was just constantly dropping. Mind you, like in between a lot of this, he's doing features and shit too, right? So we're always, as Drake fans, we were never starving. We were never hungry for Drake music like we are now. Because I feel like if we look up his features, right? Like we can't forget, he hasn't been doing any features either. So that's why it feels so crazy, because in between all that, he was dropping music, but really he hasn't. I mean, some Sexy Songs for You he did, right? But that's a joint project. Let's look at his features. How much Drake singles discography as a featured artist, right? So, like, look at all the shit he was doing. And back then, he was dropping constantly. Look at all these features, bro. 2017, 2018, 2019. See, like, we're getting stuff like No Guidance, Gold Roses, Loyal, Life is Good, Oprah's Bank Account, Pop Star, Grease, like that. In between those waits, in between albums, we're getting all this music, right? At a time with Bryson, the BB King shit that he did, Over the Top, Wait for You, Meltdown. You know, he was constantly dropping music, but since the battle, he dropped. I think this came out before. Yeah, that came out before the battle. In 2024, he did the Hot Uptown with Camila Cabello. But these were tracks that were recorded before the battle happened. The records with Camila Cabello. He did the Sideways joint with Gordo. I can't even remember seeing him on this. Mado Capone. Oh, that's that Spanish record. And then Tu Maza. So he's only dropped a few things. A few things like that's just Drake. So he's really just taking some time to work on this album, right?
With him and he says, yo, act. Unequivocally. Right? And I've had conversations with him in the past, I'll be honest, where he's like, act.
People are saying, you say Drake drops way more than even what's being shown here. I think a lot of people are including the leaks and shit. You can't count the leaks and all this stuff. It does seem like we're hearing something new from Drake every other week, but a lot of it's leaks. Of course, he previewed music in the Iceman streams, but outside of the 100 gigs pack that he did, right, which was 3 records, that was like right after the battle. Outside of those 3, No Face was part of that. And then the couple singles he dropped over the course of the Iceman rollout, which was Doghouse, What Did I Miss, and Which One. So, you know, he still has been giving us a bit of music. He still has. You're kind of right.
I know you're one of my biggest supporters. What do you think and what do you want? And I think, and in those moments, I was like, I'm speaking for the entire fan base or like the people that really love him. But I will say this time around, me having a conversation with him, he's not like, oh, let's try to convince. He's like, I got this shit. This shit is here. So I'm excited about it. And any more info I could release that will be just mass available to the public, I will. But I'm not trying to.
What do you guys think about 90 days, though, man? Like, 90 days is a ways out yet. Like, is it really going to take that long? Really, bro? Like, but that makes me wonder, what is all this for? Like, why is the team changing their profile pictures to diamonds? Why is he posting all this cryptic shit when we don't get anything from it? Like, we're not getting... There's no reward for the fans with all these cryptic posts. Like, posting shit like this. When I saw him post this, I thought for sure that we will be getting something within a week or two of this post. That was 3 weeks ago. That was 3 weeks ago, bro. So what the hell? Still nothing. And then he continued, like he posted more on his story last night. Whatever this is. I lied. Put your clothes back on. I'm going to show you all my unreleased demos, and you're going to rank them all. You know, he's still posting shit, I guess. But, like, a lot of this cryptic stuff, man, I don't get it. It's kind of... Something got to happen soon. Got a couple super chats here. Shout out to Carter Coleman over on Kick for the follow. Thanks. I don't know what's going on with the Kick. I got to figure it out. 5 from Mystic G. Thanks, bro. Only thing worse than a hater is a coward who throws rocks and hides their hands. Ebro and whoever the other guy is. Yeah, that's true, bro. That's a fact. That's a fact. 557 from Lines Tap. Thank you again, bro, for always supporting. Every time Maul says who ignored who or who spoke to who, the story changes. At first, he said Drake ignored Cole. Then he said Cole ignored Drake. That's true. Lines Tap. You're right. He's backtracked a couple times. MCH88, my guy. Thank you for coming through with the 364. It's worse than that Cole and Drake spoke before the apology, and Cole told Drake he spoke to Dot. After that, he apologized and never spoke to Drake again. Yeah, if what Maul is saying is true, that makes it even more crazy because it looks like did Kendrick influence the apology? It's weird. Shout out to Smack506 for the follow over on Kick. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I got to look over at Kick and see what's going on here. Let me see. Am I on there or am I not on there? I'm on there, but we only got 18 viewers. We got to get the Kick popping, man. I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to get my Kick monetized. But all good, all good. All right, we're gonna do one little scroll through Twitter and see if there's anything else here. We got most of it's gonna be Jay-Z. Most of it is gonna be Hove, and then tomorrow is gonna be all Cole.
Yeah. Now, I think Cole is talking about maybe industry folks who he saw.
He's talking about you. Let's keep it 1,000. All right. Well, that's what I'm saying is you end up being some, and me too, I'm sure, but even you seem more like the captain of it, of that someone could say that is what happened.
Yeah.
Because you've been critical about Drake before.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying
I was critical about Drake before the beef. So if you're doing that, you ain't been watching my show.
Oh, so you mean it's different because you're not someone who stayed quiet and was like, ooh, I got a reason. It's like, no, I've been critical about missteps you've had. Here's a giant misstep, and I'm critical again. Yeah, I would hope that he would see the difference that, like, there are people who actually wanted Drake to.
No, that's nonsense, bro. Like, everyone makes missteps in life, but the way that he acts towards Drake and, like, his delivery and how he talks and how he just, it's just coming from a place of pure hatred. It is.
Do better in that and hope that
I
it
like.
wouldn't
By the
go.
way, I like all these guys musically, artistically.
No, you don't, bro. No, you don't. I like all these guys. Drake is a cancer. Like, shut the fuck up. Multi M335, $1.99. Drake made men. Okay. Okay, we can play that for you, bro. Thank you again, Multi M335. Much appreciated. Always with the Drake bangers. He's coming through all the time with these on-release tracks and different things that people haven't heard. Jose Durham, thank you for the 5. Drake dropping April 16th, 416 Toronto area code. I've been seeing a lot of people make that prediction. Shout out to Billup over on Kick. Thank you for the follow, bro. We got to be getting close to a couple hundred people over there now. So I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. The way that they do this, bro, like the way that they do their thumbnails is hilarious. Like they face swap with the people, and whoever does these for them, they do a really good job. I don't know if it's like AI or just like really good Photoshop, but they do a really good job.
On Metro Boomin. How did you feel about it?
So I listened to it, and I have two first reactions. My first reaction is, that shit is hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a...
Yeah, man. Shout out to Turf3K for the follow over on Kick, and I'm gonna play this out with Multi M335's his request, and then I'm gonna get ready for the gym. Drake made men. Oh, this is one of the first ones he did for Ross. I think this was the first record he ever did for Ross. I think so. Oh, maybe, I don't know if Aston Martin music came before. No, I think this is the first one.
Yeah, made nigga guy, made niggas women.
Fuck it. I ain't even counting money no more.
Oh yes, a dream. Check out the community for new posts. Good call. I got to do that.
If it ain't right, it ain't right. It don't even matter no more. Cut me up a little bit. This next level shit. Two-door Bugatti coupe. I call it Katy Perry. Wiz Khalifa papers, smoking my favorite berries. At 65, I call it Rihanna. It got a red top, but it's white like Madonna. Made man, you hear what I said? Having a slumber party, all my bitches count bread.
I love Rick Ross during this era. Like the blow track and shit.
Made man, also known as Papi Chulo. And I'm running straight up in the cooler. My wrist always on frio. Call me Chili Chill. Superhead from Superhead, and I really will. Californication, motivation in my pocket. Got on my blue dicky. Shout out my nigga Rocky. Still smoking sicky. It ain't no other option. Not for made niggas. And I'm never stopping.
I'm a big fan of Rick Ross, actually. Hopefully he puts out another album quick, too. He's due for one.
I raised the bar. I set the standards. My yayo Usher Raymond. That bitch just keep on dancing.
You're right, though. Ross and Drake definitely got a lot of bangers together. The only person that I would say has better bangers with Ross will be Hove. Hove got some really, really dope records with Ross. I wouldn't mind seeing Hove and Ross do a collab album. Will be fucking amazing.
Dollar bills on top of dollar bills. That's all I'm throwing if she want little mama will. Made niggas talking a lot of skrill. 8 digits, a nigga trying to live. Made man, you hear what I said? I got 100 squares. If you're scared, call the feds. Made man, I'm screaming dollar bills. Pop the trunk on the Porsche, there they go, dollar bills.
Riding around the city, plastic cup of Henny. find a nigga like me. Truth be told, I don't know many. I say shout my driver, Lauren. That's 62 with curtains. Can't see shit, I don't know where the fuck I'm at for certain. When it boils down, I'm just a T.O. nigga. But bitches tell me that I look just like a Creole nigga. New Orleans know it's love every time I'm in town. Shout out my nigga Tez, that's my brother, my round. Spending tomorrow's money, I call it mañana.
I think this actually came after Aston Martin music. I think it did, because I think at first he only wanted Drake to sing. I think he just wanted him on hooks.
Off the rack, this ain't my style. I call her designer. One of my baddest women ever. I call her Rihanna. But that's cause her name is Rihanna. I'm in the condo just posted watching Miami kill. I might just walk to the arena and watch it for real. Ashes to ashes, me, Rose, and Cali. Smoking bull rider, shit moving slow as a ballad. Tattoo on your ass, it'd be nice if you show me. I'm buying bitches first, Mike Tyson, Naomi. I got the right to do it, it's only right to do it. Love me some head and I love a woman that likes to do it. Still love my team, ain't no other option. Not for made niggas, and I'm never stopping. I'm Damon Wayans, just know that homie don't play that. You know we run it, my nigga, Young Money Maybach.
Dollar bills on top of dollar bills. That's all I'm throwing.
Ross got a lot of bangers too, man. Really.
And if she want little mama will, made niggas talking a lot of skrill. 8 digits, a nigga trying to live. Made man, you hear what I said? I got 100 squares. If you're scared, call the feds. Made man, I'm screaming dollar bills. Pop the trunk on the Porsche, there they go. You hear what I said? I got some bad news. Jabbar back in the feds. Facing 20, he just did a dime. Been out a year, look like he finna ride. Genocide, these people kill.
Nah, man, like people are saying, I would think that Jay-Z and Rick Ross got better bangers, man. Like Freemason. Come on, man. Oh, okay. If like this is one of their best bangers together, I think, but this one even goes even crazier with Jay-Z and Ross. You know I got it's pretty far too. Fuck with me, you know I got it. But Devil is a Lie. They got some serious bangers together, man. I think I would take Hove and Ross over Drake and Ross. Even you know I got it's far too. Nah, you can't say Drake made Ross, man. Like Ross had, he might have gave Ross some big hits, but like Ross already had some like really good joints before. Like I remember listening to this back in like 2006. Wow, man. Like, you know. Good song. Yeah, no doubt. Oh, I got one more request here, and then I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I gotta check the Twitter community real quick. I got to check the Twitter community and see if anyone's put. By the way, if anyone wants me to review anything in particular, you could always put it into the Twitter community. So Caleb just puts up. Where's the What's the Dirt community? Where's the What's the Dirt community? Right here. Okay. Okay, you dropped 8 minutes ago from user UMG's response to Drake appeal is due to 27th, and Drake's response is due April 17th. Might tie into episode 4 rollout. I'm glad that you mentioned that because someone did as well, and we talked about this on the stream yesterday, and you're right. Drake's the response from UMG to Drake's appeal is due on the 27th. So you're right. OMFG _B HB. Thank you for the submission to the community. Hove dropped this interview to step on J. Cole and Cam's shit. Well, are they not both through? Well, yeah, one is through GQ, right? One is through Revolt. Kind of interesting, right? I don't think it's going to work, though. I don't think it's going to work because a lot of people are waiting. The way that Cam has marketed, the way his team has marketed that J. Cole interview, they put out all the right clips, right? Every clip that they selected was strategic, and they did a good job of creating a lot of noise around that interview. Tomorrow on stream, we're going to react to it. We're going to watch it all because it looks like it's going to be a really good interview. A Dream, have you looked up Eugene O'Neill 1938 play The Iceman Cometh? Might be something connected to the whole concept of Iceman. Let me see here. We can. Is this something that I'll need to do on my own time? From this point on, O'Neill's work. Iceman. It's a play written by American Eugene 1939. First published in 1946 as a thing on Broadway. Subsequently adapted, blah, 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 blah. What is it about? I'm going to ask ChatGPT. To really quickly summarize that for me. Let's see. It'll tell us here really quick. Give us a brief overview. Let's see. It's originally at surface level. In the play, a group of broken alcoholic characters live off pipe dreams. Basically lies they tell themselves to cope. Then a guy named Hickey shows up and forces them to face reality. That's where the phrase comes in. The Iceman cometh. Truth is coming. And it's going to destroy your illusions. There are a few layers. Literally back then, an Iceman delivered ice. Pre-fridge era. Slang also tied to a joke about a man sneaking in while husband is gone. Symbolic. It's cold, harsh reality, a death of a fantasy. The deeper theme, the play is basically saying people need their illusions to survive. When those illusions get stripped away, things don't get better, they collapse. So the Iceman isn't a hero. He's a disruptor who ruins the comfortable lie. I like that. That's interesting. Now, I've never ever heard anyone mention this before. Honestly. W a Dream. Thank you, bro. I'm going to look more into that. Let's see what else we got here. Jay-Z doesn't want the Iceman smoke. Now Drake got to re-record some bars. You're saying he doesn't want any more battles? Pretty much. But yeah, we went over this already. Shout out to my guy, Rye B, man. OVO Maddie, the biggest problem with the Drake community is the obsessive ones that seem louder than other fan bases. See it under videos of people reacting to Drake. Any critique, 10 comments up their ass calling them haters, or you look like a hater. It's cringe, and it gives a bad rep. Bro, I think it's the exact same for Kendrick, too, though. You'll see the same thing. They're one in the... this is stan culture. You think there will ever be a Drake Ye collab album? I don't think their beef ever got to a point of no turning back. I don't know if it's really worth it at this point for Drake to do a collab album. Like, I don't think either one of them need to. It would just strictly be a thing for the fans if they did. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be mad at it. It's been something that we've been waiting, or we've wanted for years, right? But I feel like the right time to do it has already passed. I feel like it's already passed at this point. Possible Kanye feature. We talked about that yesterday. All right, so I'm going to play Wayne Ross. Please play Lil Wayne and Rick Ross. John, okay. John. Okay, yeah. Dirt, have you seen Insider Hub post about Drake almost being on Bully? No, I didn't see that. I feel like that guy was wrong about Bully, though. Let me see. He said Bully features include Peso Pluma, Vulture's Throwaway, and Travis Scott. Attempts were made to make amends with Drake for a new song. I don't know if that's the best move for Drake right now. No way Drake falling for that bullshit. Maybe Drake Bell. You can't trust Kanye, man. He's got some work to do, I feel like, before, like, you know, Drake just went on this big rant about all these people who have burned him and like stabbed them in the back and shit like that. Like, I think if you're being careful, you shouldn't be working with Ye, because right now he's medicated and he seems to be doing well, but the minute he gets off his medication, you're going to see him on Twitter again. He's going to be calling Drake a faggot and all sorts of shit, right? So, I mean, that's what he was doing not long ago. So, I think he's learned at this point that Ye is probably not someone. He's a wild card, right? He's a wild card. Can't wait to see all the haters cry when the album releases, and it's amazing. Look, we're gonna react to Bully on stream. We'll take it over to Kick and we'll listen, right? Iceman about to be epic, hopefully. Hopefully. You know what I should do for a stream? I should hook up this old unit and just fucking mess around and DJ. That'd be pretty cool, eh? This thing literally got dust on it, bro. Like, this thing is dirty, bro. This was in the closet for a long time. That'd be pretty cool, though. I got to practice, though. It's been a minute. I feel like you never really lose it, though. You never really lose it. Oh, man. So unstoppable during that era. Shout out to 2 people on YouTube for the subscriptions, Ronald and G-Del Cruz. And also shout out to Wolf999X for the follow on Kick. And K Checkmate 7 for the follow on Kick. I might hop on again here later, chat. I'm assuming that Ak is going to be streaming here in a bit. So I'll be watching Ak tonight because I'm very curious at what he's going to say about this Jay-Z shit. So if I'm not on, you'll see me tomorrow because we're going to definitely be reacting to this J. Cole and Cam interview when it drops. It drops tomorrow around this time. So I'll see you here regardless around this time tomorrow. If not, maybe even again tonight. And again, please go over to the Kick and follow what's_the_dirt. I'm trying to get monetized over on Kick because I would much rather be streaming over there than here. You know? So, all right. I hope you guys have a good Monday. Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Yeah. Have a good Tuesday.